Okay, so how do you increase your win rate as a trader? This is a question that I get relatively often from people in the comment section and in my emails and on our Discord community group. People ask occasionally, Nick, how do I increase my win rate? And in today's video, I'm going to give you the most honest answer I can because that's what this channel is about. Honest, realistic trading and investing. Stay tuned and let's get into it right now. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick. I talk all about trading and investing, mostly in the forex market and the stock market. Now today we are talking about win percentages, to put it bluntly. How often do you win? Do you win 60% of your trades, 70%, 10%, 20%, 30%? Now the answer to this is going to vary because there are different sort of trading styles out there. Some people trade reversals, some people trade trends, some people trade breakouts, some people trade pullbacks, and each sort of different style has a different win percentage associated to it. Now you as a trader have to ask yourself, do I want to be the kind of person that takes wins very often? Hold on, I'm getting a call. So you have to ask yourself, which kind of trader are you? Are you the kind of person that really needs to, for your own psychology, do you need to take wins more often? Or are you looking to be the kind of person that says, I don't really care for wins to be frequent, I just want my wins to mean a lot more? Because unfortunately in trading, you can't have both. This is a game where basically there is no free lunch. You don't get to win all the time and make giant profits on all your winners. You kind of have to pick and choose. And so you have to ask yourself, because different strategies are going to fit different people. This is why I say this on the channel. My strategy might not work as well for you because it might just be really uncomfortable for you to trade the way I trade. So we're going to talk about the two different extremes. Do you want your winners to be very big and infrequent? Or do you want your trades to be very frequently profitable, but they might not be the biggest profits in the world? They might be relatively smaller profits. You have to ask yourself, so let's get into the pros and cons of each. So let's talk about big wins, infrequent wins first. This is the model that I personally prefer in my trend following strategies. One of the core principles of being a trend trading strategist or strategy developer or whatever you want to call it, a trend trading trader, is basically your trades are going to mostly result in break-even, small wins, and small losses. That's the reality of what a trend trader looks like. We can take a look at some examples on some charts here. I'll pop them up on the screen. Take a look at gold in the last year or so. You can see gold has been on a monumental trend to the upside. But before that, it wasn't nearly, if we look at 2017, 2018, 2019, around that area, you can see that the market was not as incredibly trending. Now, this, as a trend follower for me, means that, okay, my wins during those previous years, those further back years, are going to be much smaller. But during the 2020 era, where we had some crazy volatility on gold and we had some incredible bullish trends, there could have been some really big winners in there. So going back to my concept of most of my trades are going to be small wins, small losses, or break-even trades, that would be kind of acceptable in this case because in 2020, the big wins would have paid for it all. And that to me is how I personally like to trade. I like to take infrequent large winners and a lot of small wins, small losses, break-even trades. That's just that's what's most comfortable to me after years of trading. However, previously in my more early on days of trading, I couldn't handle only winning 30-40% of my trades and maybe even less, which is about what I do now in my trend following strategies. You might say, oh well Nick, that stinks, you must just be so inaccurate as a trader. And the reality is you can be fairly accurate and still take a break-even trade, right? For example, if you bought into something and it started moving in your favor, but then it comes back and gets you out for break-even, you were still fairly accurate, but you're looking for the really big winner that doesn't happen as often. When it does, you make money, but when it doesn't, you're stuck with a break-even or a small loss or whatever, right? So for me, earlier on in my trading days might be like some of you guys. I know this was definitely relevant to me. I couldn't handle taking a loss all the time and rarely getting anything that would make me decent money. So I needed a strategy or an approach that was a little bit more favorable to winning more frequently. Getting something more like a 50-60% win rate, that's a little bit more comfortable, especially when personally you need that confidence of winning most of your trades. what this means is we have to shrink that giant winner category, right? Our wins aren't going to be as big if we're taking wins more frequently. Why? Because it's not as common for the market to move drastically one direction that we call, because that doesn't happen as much in markets. There's a lot of back and forth. And so sometimes if you trail a stop in, you're going to get stopped out for break even, so on, so forth. So with that said, generally speaking, if you want a higher win rate, you've got to reduce your reward to risk. Meaning instead of going for a 5-to-1 reward to risk, as you can see in this picture, which creates a ginormous profit margin and a small relative loss ratio, shrinking that down to something more like a 2-to-1 or a 1.5-to-1 reward to risk. Here on TradingView, you can see it definitely decreases how big your winner is going to be relative to your losses, but it is more achievable for the average trade. And the reason I bring this up is because it's still a positive reward to risk ratio. Our winners are still going to be bigger than our losses if we use a 1.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio, or a 2-to-1, right? Those are still bigger wins than losses, but they're not as ginormous as that 5-to-1 reward to risk. So you have to ask yourself, which do I favor? Which is more important to me? Getting that big, juicy, giant winning trade every once in a while, and in the meantime waiting for it patiently with all the smaller losses and small wins? Or do I want something that is a little bit more consistently making money? And again, I think a lot of people lean towards that category, especially when they're newer to trading and they need to build up that confidence. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that was more my style for the first few years of trading. And I did end up, creating some profitability using that sort of model. But then I personally found it to be more profitable in my own situation, although may not be the same for you, right? It's going to be different based on your tolerance as a trader. That might be incredibly uncomfortable for you to take very few losses, very few wins, and lots of losses. But for me personally, I found this to be a little bit more profitable. Maybe because less people can understand or handle the mental strain that comes with taking loss after loss after loss and dealing with strings of losses, right? So that's all I've got on this topic, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, comment down below, and I will go ahead and try and leave a heart on your comment. We've been doing that recently, and it's been kind of fun. So just comment, I made it to the end of the video, and it shows that you're a real, true subscriber here on the old Trader Nick YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, like the video if you have not already, and we'll see you back in the next one.